Week 3. Using appropriate oral language when giving instructions. English 7. For this week, the most essential learning competency is MELC 16. Use the appropriate oral language, stance, and behavior when giving information, instructions, making explanations, and narrating events in factual and personal recounts. This learning packet for this week contains short discussion on simple rules to ensure that instructions will be understandable and possible, 3 tasks in the development part, final task and presentation of rubric in the engagement part, bag of takeaways in the assimilation part, review of the lesson in the assessment part, and writing down of takeaways or personal insights about one's learnings in the reflection part. Suppose an emergency occurs in your community such as earthquake, fire, or tsunami. What would you do in these certain situations? Well, drills are done inside the school, right? Are you listening carefully to your teacher's instructions on what to do? I hope you are. Well, hello there. It is the 3rd week of the 3rd quarter. Once again, I am Teacher Nina, your virtual help and guide to learning in English 7. Last week, you learned how to make ideas clearer and visual presentations more interesting by effectively using multimedia resources. This time, you are going to understand that giving instructions is considered appropriate when delivered clearly and completely. Here are the simple rules to ensure that your instructions will be understandable and possible. Number 1. Phrase your instructions carefully and organize them logically. Number 2. Make your instructions easier to do by using short and simple language. Number 3. Provide all the important details in the instructions. Moreover, you will learn how to give clear instructions or guidelines, especially during emergency situations. It's quite challenging to do this during difficult circumstances, but it is very vital. Keep that in mind. Now, look at the sample written guide or instructions from Civil Defense PH when experiencing earthquake. Now, let us dig deeper with our learning through the following activities. Learning Task 1. You have to familiarize yourself with the following emergency terminologies: safety, disaster, aftershocks, go bag, first aid kit, earthquake drills, evacuation, earthquake preparedness. After doing so, identify what is being described in each definition found in Learning Task 1 of your module. Learning Task 2. Using the infographic on earthquake presented in the introduction part earlier, copy and complete the table below by giving appropriate instructions before, during, and after an emergency. The first one is done for you as your guide. Be the right guide during disasters, okay? Learning Task 3. In times of emergency, you need to give instructions verbally. Suppose you are a volunteer and you witnessed a person getting in an accident. What will you do and say? Now, create a dialogue and use the appropriate expressions below. May I help you? I'll take you to the nearest clinic or hospital. Were you hurt badly? I'll call a doctor or a nurse. Then, explain to the injured person what he or she should do and should not do. Now that you are equipped to give instructions orally, it is now time for your final task. Suppose that there is an incoming super typhoon in the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR. With it, you know that your community is prone to one of the following situations. Situation 1. Storm surge before the super typhoon. Situation 2. Landslide during the super typhoon. And Situation 3. Flooding during and after the super typhoon. Now, here's your main task. Number 1. Choose one emergency situation listed above. Number 2. Prepare instructions or guidelines on what to do before, during, after your chosen situation. Write it on your paper. Number 3. Remember to make your instructions understandable and doable by following these simple rules. Number 1. Phrase your instructions carefully and organize them logically. Next, make your instructions easier to do by using short and simple language. And last, provide all the important details in the instructions. For your guide, here is the rubric for scoring your final task. Well, disasters may happen at any moment, sometimes with little or no notice. Remember, knowing what to do in times of an emergency will be helpful for you, for your family, and even for your community. So, once again, here are the simple rules in making instructions understandable and doable, especially during an emergency. This week's activities and engaging discussion will surely help you develop the use of appropriate oral language when giving instructions. Once again, I am Teacher Nina, your English teacher. See you again on our next episode.